like what you see, you can like, share, subscribe. You can also donate via PayPal. The PayPal link is in the description. Of course, that's how this channel exists. YouTube does not pay me to do these videos. I don't get any payment off of views or likes. I get payment off of directly from you. All right, let's get into it. Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk. How is a history in the making? Well, there's several different ways, so let's get into it. One of them is Alexander Usyk is the second two-time two-divisional undisputed world champion ever in terms of heavyweight and cruiserweight. The first was Evander Holyfield. Two, Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury were both undefeated fighters fighting for the position of undisputed. And that didn't happen as far back as Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier way back in the 70s. Three, Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk are the first to fight for undisputed outside of the United States of America in what is known as Saudi Arabia. So that's another first. Another first is that for the first time in the history of boxing, we've had a southpaw heavyweight becoming undisputed. That has never happened before. And yet another bit of history for you guys to pay attention to, and this is just how significant this event was. And, you know, I hear people talking about, oh, undisputed just happened to happen. Timothy Bradley was like, I'm not really interested in it being undisputed. Well, listen, man, history will observe this. It's very important. This is the first four-belt undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Alexander Usyk has also made that history. To add to the history even more, as if that isn't enough, we also have the fact that Alexander Usyk becomes the first two-time undisputed, two-time undisputed in the four-belt era, cruiserweight and heavyweight champion. He's the first to do that. Not only that, but he is also the biggest undisputed champion ever in the four-belt era. Now, if that ain't enough, there's more history. Alexander Usyk becomes the very first undisputed and undisputed, not just heavyweight, but cruiserweight champion who was a southpaw. So there's a lot of history behind this. A lot of history. When you put the resumes of Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury together, get a hell of a resume. Hell of a resume. Of course, Alexander Usyk having beaten Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, he's yet to beat one more person, which would be Deontay Wilder. Those were the biggest, stars in the heavyweight division. But he can fight as long as he wants. He's a good champion. Now, people are talking about how Alexander Usyk cheated, and they mentioned him kissing the crucifix during the fight, and they're arguing that either an inhaler was behind the crucifix, excuse me, or what happened was the crucifix itself had an inbuilt inhaler. Well, we know from seeing at the end of the fight when he kissed the crucifix, it didn't have an inhaler in the crucifix itself. So maybe they had an inhaler behind the crucifix, or maybe it's just that Alexander Usyk kissed the crucifix, which he did. Now, we could investigate that further if we so wish. Because people are talking about how he just suddenly had a burst of energy I believe it was after the 6th round, or the 7th round, or the 8th round, one of them, he had a burst of energy. I personally think that uh, it should be looked into. But having said that, uh, I already knew, and I predicted this a while back. I already knew that Alexander Usyk was going to beat Tyson Fury. And I've been saying it from the moment I heard that fight was made. I already knew that. Um, there are certain fighters, their commitment to the sport of boxing, their dedication, their discipline, they do it the old way. You got to give these guys credit. Usyk doesn't cut corners. Now, Fury's known for cheating. He actually got caught with nandrolone in his system. So he's been known to cheat. But Usyk, maybe. I'm not going to rule it out, but I'll have a look and see. Now, people are talking about Usyk being DQ'd and Fury getting the match. That's a reach. A lot of y'all are reaching out there. But, hey, I'll entertain the reach because I want a clean sport. I don't want a Ryan Garcia kind of a sport or a sport where people are juicing or cheating in any way, shape, or form. So if it has to me, from what I saw of the video footage, it looked like he was kissing the crucifix, and he literally requested the crucifix to kiss it. But you never know. You just never know. So I'm going to leave some leeway on that and see. But what I'll tell you guys is this, because I'm not vouching for nobody. I'm not putting my head up blocking nobody. This dude has time and time again done it the hard way. So I don't know. I don't know if I believe that, but we could see. We'll see. With respect to what Teddy Atlas was saying, Teddy Atlas said something that when I was listening, he said something to the effect of, why are they announcing the rematch for this fight before the fight even took place? And he thought it was bad for the sport. Well, the reason, Mr. Teddy Atlas, they announced the rematch is because Tyson Fury was a champion and Alexander Usyk was a unified champion. Now, according to rules, a champion can therefore ask for a rematch if he loses his championship to redeem himself. So the reason why Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, in negotiations, Fury's team and Usyk's team decided, okay, we'll have a rematch if any one of the champions lose to redeem themselves. But a champion should have a chance to redeem himself. So that's the only reason why a rematch was announced in advance, because in the negotiations, they negotiated for a rematch. So it was a great first fight, and why not a rematch, So, when Teddy Atlas and Paulie Malignaggi's talk about, they should never announce the rematch, that cheapens the stuff and so on, that's nonsense. These are champions. These are not the average Joe out there. These are two champions. And therefore, as champions, they should have the right, if one of them loses, which in this case was Tyson Fury, to have a rematch and redeem themselves. Okay? That's straight plain boxing. And they just so happen to have it in their contract, so they have a rematch. When Floyd Mayweather rematched Marcos Maidana in the unification fight he had, it was because Marcos Maidana was a champion. However, Floyd did not rematch Manny Pacquiao. Now, there is a little caveat here. In the case of Manny Pacquiao, Floyd convincingly beat Manny Pacquiao. But should the champ have deserved a rematch if he had agreed to it before? Yes. Okay? If Errol Spence could have gotten a rematch with Terrence Crawford, and so could have Manny Pacquiao with Floyd Mayweather, but apparently they didn't have it in the contract for reasons unknown to me. But in the case of Marcos Maidana, they added it in the contract so that they ran it back. By the way, Marcus McDonald did an extremely great job against Floyd Mayweather in convincing everybody that he definitely could have won that fight. So that's why they ran it back again. Jose Luis Castillo got a rematch because it was a rematch clause in the contract. And I think any champion or any world champion should have a rematch clause in their championship fight so that they can get back their title in case they lose. I say all of this to say, I know it's very late in the night, that's why I'm yawning. I'm saying all of this to say to you guys that in boxing, don't forget to smash the like button, even though it doesn't really matter much for me. It's better if you donate than smash the like button. And generous donations are welcome. But I'm saying this to say that they have a right to rematch each other. They have a right to rematch each other. A champion should have a chance to get a second stab at this title if he loses it. I think so. It's fair. So I really don't have a problem with that. So I just wanted to say all of that. I'm WattUNeed. You're watching my channel. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget you can like, share, subscribe. You can also donate via PayPal. The link, of course, is in the description. You guys have a good night. God bless you all. I agree with Teddy Atlas. It was a fight that was very dramatic and epic and everything that goes along with it. And I'm happy the fans are satisfied with it. I don't know what it made in terms of pay-per-view, but I hope it made good pay-per-view. We know Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia did 550K buys, which is a decent amount of buys considering, people said it wasn't going to sell and blah, 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 blah. It ended up having 550,000 pay-per-view buys, making Ryan Garcia a pretty decent attraction. Now, people are talking about some other fights, which I don't want to talk about. But what I do want to talk about is Jack Catterall versus what's his name? What's the kid's name? Jack Catterall versus what's his name? Help me remember his name. I forgot his name. Josh Taylor, right? Jack Catterall versus Josh Taylor. And that could be a good fight as well. You know what I mean? I'm WattUNeed. You guys have a good night. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Peace. Stay well.